And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from him. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
In Florida, man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Oh, Tank's gonna kill him. Tank's gonna kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
it's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's gonna kill him because he...
The boxing world is buzzing as GervontaDavis shows up in peak condition ahead of his fight with Jake Paul. Training clips reveal him hitting the heavy bag with explosive power and pinpoint accuracy, his movements sharp and full of energy. His focus and intensity have experts impressed, showing he's taking this matchup seriously and entering the ring with both confidence and top-level conditioning. Analysts say GervontaDavis has a strong chance to win, but only if he fights smart. They stress that he needs to focus on movement, ring control, and timing instead of hunting an early knockout. Tank's strength lies in his patience and ability to read opponents, and experts believe that if he sticks and moves, Jake Paul won't be able to keep up with his speed and precision. While Davis is one of boxing's most explosive punchers, his real danger comes from his defense and counterpunching. Many agree that when he fights intelligently, no one at Jake's level can match his mix of technique, power, and footwork.
Speed and, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers.
Experts predict Jake Paul will face a harsh reality in the ring against GervontaDavis. They point out that Tank's experience, speed, and fight IQ far exceed anything Jake has faced before. While Jake's past opponents had strength, none matched Tank's explosive timing or ability to exploit openings. Analysts believe the power gap will be decisive when Tank lands clean shots, noting Jake's defense is raw and untested, whereas Davis can read and control every movement. Most see a knockout as likely, with the consensus that once Tank connects, Jake won't have the endurance or defensive skill to recover, leading to a sudden, brutal finish.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killer. Chilla Killers. Chilla.
Weight has become a major talking point for this fight. Some argue the size difference is too big to overlook, while others believe GervontaDavis's refined skills will outweigh the physical gap. Fans and experts are split. Some even question whether the fight should happen given Jake's larger frame. Still, Tank's supporters argue his speed, precision, and discipline let him handle bigger opponents with ease. They stress that boxing isn't about size, but about control, angles, and timing. And many believe Jake's limited fundamentals won't be enough to challenge Davis's technical edge, which should neutralize any size advantage.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion GervontaDavis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135-pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their...
Michael Bisping praised GervontaDavis's power and skill, but cautioned that size can't be completely ignored. He respects Tank's ability to adapt against bigger opponents, but notes that physical differences always play a role. According to Bisping, Tank can outthink and outmaneuver Jake, yet the weight gap could test his endurance and ability to absorb heavier punches. Still, he admires Tank's determination and believes that if anyone can handle the challenge, it's him. Bisping concludes that while size is a factor, Davis's technical advantage could be enough to overcome Jake's physical edge if he executes a flawless strategy.
Mike Tyson, that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday. Because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on.
Several analysts say GervontaDavis's resume has been unfairly disrespected. They point out that fighters who share the ring with him often gain major recognition afterward, like Lamont Roach, who was relatively unknown before facing Davis, but grew in popularity and success after their bout. Analysts argue this shows Tank's influence and star power in boxing. They reject claims that he isn't a leading figure, noting that his fights create opportunities for others and keep fans engaged. To them, dismissing his legacy overlooks how much he has elevated the profiles of fellow fighters simply by stepping into the ring.
Going discussion in the boxing world about GervontaDavis and GervontaDavis, his resume, who he's gonna fight, the competitors that he's gonna fight, and every once in a while something happens that proves that GervontaDavis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like GervontaDavis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. GervontaDavis, they always say that GervontaDavis has a poor resume, but yet GervontaDavis, guys that fight GervontaDavis, lose to GervontaDavis, or get a draw to GervontaDavis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship.
Coach Reg takes a balanced view on the criticism aimed at Gervonta, noting that Tank has already accomplished more than most fighters his age. He says there's nothing wrong with taking high-paying fights once you've proven yourself, and believes Davis deserves to secure his financial future after years of hard work and risk. Reg points out that every boxer eventually reaches a stage where life-changing paydays matter. He feels critics overlook Tank's contributions to the sport and underestimate his dedication. And whether Davis retires soon or keeps fighting, he has already cemented his place among the top lightweights of his era.
Especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical, Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputed. You got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age, so I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. I mean, plus, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I wanted to see him fight Shakur. I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Some analysts note that a lot of the attention around this fight comes from Gervonta popularity and cultural influence. As a well-known black fighter in America, Tank naturally attracts media and fan focus. His bouts aren't just sporting events, they're cultural moments that resonate widely. Experts say his fame has made him one of boxing's biggest names, bringing both praise and criticism, and public perception heavily shapes how fights like this are received. Still, most agree that it's his talent, not just his celebrity, that has earned him this level of attention.
Especially an American black fighter, right? Everything is embellished and, made into a bigger deal, especially when they're popular fighters like Gervonta or Floyd Mayweather has a close fight with Castillo Maidana and it's the end of the world. Andre Ward has a tough fight with Kovalev. Oh, it's the end of the world. He cheated and all this stuff. Jermell Charlo has a close fight with Castano, so on and so forth, right? Oh, Jermell, it was a robbery, and it turns into this big deal. But back to Tank's resume, his last opponent was Lamont Roach. I thought he won the fight. There wasn't this crazy action happening on Lamont Roach's side prior to that knee thing. I feel like when the knee fiasco happened, that's when the fight started to pick up a bit. And Lamont Roach, I think what he deserves credit for is he exceeded expectations that people have for him. But you can't score a fight based on expectations. You feel me? Right? Like, you don't get a fight and get the victory because you did better than people thought you were gonna do. That is not how you score boxing, right? You don't get more points because you're the underdog and you did better. It's not how boxing works at all, right?
Many analysts view this matchup as more of a global spectacle than a strictly competitive fight. Jake Paul's rise through social media and entertainment has made him a crossover figure rather than a traditional boxer. Experts say the fight isn't just about settling a sporting rivalry. It's designed to draw mainstream audiences. With Netflix broadcasting, it's set for massive exposure. While some expect Tank to dominate thanks to his elite experience, others believe Jake's celebrity keeps the event thrilling. This fight represents the blend of entertainment and boxing, where skill meets spectacle, and no matter how competitive it is, it's sure to attract millions of viewers and put both fighters in the global spotlight.
Jake Paul, thoughts? I will reiterate one more time. I would rather see this because it's a spectacle than him versus Ryan Borland or Andre August or chasing these like quote-unquote championship dreams in boxing. I don't think he's a championship level boxer. I don't really care about that journey. I want to see him in spectacles. Netflix is going to air Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So to me, this is,
Do you think it will do well?
It will be watched. It will be watched.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to watch.
I would rather see Anthony Joshua just because that has been put out there and is on the table. But I will watch this.
I saw some people breaking this down on, it was a non-fight pod. It was, I don't remember which one. And they were saying like, oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then...
It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when there was
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because...
Stephen Fulton has stepped up to defend GervontaDavis against critics claiming he's chasing easy money. Fulton argues that every boxer deserves financial security, especially given how short and risky their careers are. He emphasizes that Tank has already proven himself through years of dominance, so taking high-profile, lucrative fights is a natural step. Fulton urges fans to see beyond the surface, noting that Davis has earned the right to balance legacy with financial reward. His defense reflects a growing sentiment in boxing, respecting fighters who understand their worth and refuse to be confined by outdated expectations.
Body in that position would have taken that fight, especially with the payout. It's like, that's a no-brainer, but I understand. I still feel for Lamont. That's my boy. Like, he still want his rematch. But then when you be realistic about the money situation, you're changing your whole family life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people hate on it because they're not in that position. I'm not saying Lamont. I'm speaking like other boxers. Be like, oh, he this for that. He's this. It's a side quest. It's a little side quest. Because what happened when Floyd and all these guys went on WWE, but then they get right back to what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's not a little side quest. I'm all for people just getting their money, so get the best, make the most that you can out of this entertainment world. Because, I mean, I don't know. I would have done it as far as the money aspect, because none of us would deny that money. They talking like they would not.
Eddie Chambers warns that underestimating GervontaDavis would be a major mistake. While he acknowledges Jake Paul's size advantage, he stresses that Tank's skill, power, and fight IQ make him a formidable challenge for anyone. Chambers highlights Davis's quick reflexes and explosive combinations, which can overwhelm bigger fighters who lack defensive awareness. He explains that unless Jake becomes a true powerhouse, he'll struggle against Tank's precision and intensity. Chambers emphasizes that Davis remains one of boxing's most dangerous pound-for-pound fighters, proving that size matters little against someone as technically skilled and mentally sharp as GervontaDavis.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. It's gotten a lot of fighters and, you know, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing and what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from him. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
That's it for today's video.